We're going to be continuing with a Pechakucha from Paola and Namali from VUW, and they're going to be talking to us about supporting neurodiverse students through inclusive course design. Fantastic, take it away whenever you're ready.
Great, thank you, Nancy. Kia ora, everyone, and thanks so much for joining our session. We are a group of two researchers. Actually, I can skip, yeah, here we are. Dr. Namali Suraweera, who is an academic developer at the Center for Academic Development at Victoria University of Wellington, and myself, Dr. Paola, a lecturer in cultural anthropology at the School of Social and Cultural Studies at Victoria University of Wellington. So we bring together our different expertise to develop teaching strategies in higher education. The aim of our project is to understand what teaching, learning, and assessment strategies can be implemented to support neurodiverse students through inclusive course design in higher education. In this session, we only focus on assessment in particular. So to give you some context first on how we take the notion of neurodiversity. We take this notion to mean that all humans are wired differently. These natural differences influence the way an individual thinks and learns, they imagine, how they process sensory information, how they perceive the world, how they communicate, and how they interact with others. Some people might have specific needs that are labeled as learning disorders in medicine, for example, dyslexia, ADHD, autism, just to name a few. These people are generally considered neurodivergent, which means that they process information and communicate in different ways from a neurotypical subject, where obviously normality and divergency are cultural constructions. So they're different in every society. But to use the notion, the use of neurodiversity for us is strategic because we want to encompass all human diversity. And we want to support teaching strategies that can accommodate all these differences and the different needs. So in terms of background, there is an increasing number of students with learning difficulties entering higher education, which of course is great, and it is a big change from the past. But of course, this also poses a growing challenge for teachers. So teachers need to be supported in developing new strategies. Despite this, neurodiversity has received little attention in higher education pedagogical literature. And at the same time, there is no support, there is not much institutional support in universities, as suggested by articles that directly the voices of students themselves. So in this context of increased needs and lack of studies, we want to contribute to this area of research, and we want to try to empower both teachers and students through inclusive assessment strategies. So we have put together some guidelines that we have extracted from a literature review we have conducted, and also from our own experience, to design inclusive assessment practices. So Claudia et al. Claimed that sensitivity, in particular, by teachers is needed in providing these adjustments. First of all, teachers need to understand what is needed in each class. So each class is different. It has to be taken as a completely different environment, and where each student has different needs. So teachers need to be sensitive and responsive, flexible. And they also need to be in touch with other support teams, such as academic developers, the disability services, families, and the students themselves. So if teachers need to be ready to adapt, there are a lot of alternatives we can propose. So variety is the key. We have some examples here we have made. For example, autistic students might benefit from examination assistance, such as extended text time, distraction-free test areas, and flexible or extended due dates for assignments. But this might not work for everybody. And for example, students with ADHD might find flexibility to be actually counterproductive, and they might prefer more casual settings and also more specific deadlines, sometimes even very strict deadlines. So in that case, we need to be flexible, propose different alternatives, and in that case, adopting a universal learning by design approach to developing assignments can actually be more fair if you extend that to all students. So we might have rules in place that can apply to all students, like, for example, some more flexible deadlines or different room settings or different test settings that then students can choose from. Then, of course, teachers should make sure to design tests that are dyslexia friendly, and some new research suggests that AI can help with that. But of course, we also should constantly get feedback from students as well to see how the test works and if they actually had problems and difficulties in creating them. Teachers should avoid speed-based assessments unless this is a learning requirement, and some subjects that might be a requirement, but otherwise it should be avoided. And this is what the literature is suggesting. And if there is a group work, also we have seen that it is suggested to provide specific guidance on how the group activity functions, because for some people working in a group might not be particularly difficult. We have also seen that it can be useful to include self-assessment as a component, which works for many different kind of thinkers and learners. And finally, it is also suggested to design assessment that is broken down in tasks and in clearly defined steps, so the students can divide the work. And not necessarily all students would have to do that, but that could be a strategy that could help some students. But when we do that, we have to be careful not to emphasize differences in a negative way. So teachers need to be accommodating, but not in a way that emphasizes individual difficulties as if they were limitations in students' capabilities. So that is all from us. It was a very short session, but we are really happy to hear any feedback or questions that you might have. And otherwise, thank you so much from both of us.
There's some thank yous coming in the chat. That's a fantastic topic and one of increasing importance and relevance to all of us at universities. The percentage of students who identify as being neurodiverse or having some form of learning difference has increased pretty noticeably in the last couple of years. And Catherine says that it was a very practical, very helpful thing that your presentation has just provided.
Thanks, Catherine.
I know that this is a topic of great relevance to us at the moment, so I wonder if anyone has an experience, a personal experience they want to share, adapting or customizing their materials for either individual students or groups of students that they've noticed appearing in their workshops or their classes.
As Nancy said, I think the flexibility of giving assessment tasks, designing assessment tasks in a flexibility way, in any experiences. Yeah, we would love to hear from you as well.
Okay, thank you again to Namali and Paola for their excellent research and presentation.